Oh man, that's like a jolt of coffee in the veins, man. Every time I hear that beat.
Hey, we here, baby. My bad. My mic was off. No, what's going on, man? How you doing tonight?
Oh man, like I said, man, I just got a refreshed a Prism God refreshness right now with that beat, man. Every time I hear it, I just start to wake up.
What's good? What's good, Tom? What's good? Love what you collect, man. A shout out to all the people that are actually watching tonight live and actually gonna cooperate, you know what I'm saying, and participate with us and hang out and talk to us about what's going on in the hobby, what's going on in the sports, and shoot, we can talk about everyday life as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
What
I
you know about
know.
that?
I think I, this past weekend was the first time that I was at a 4 day show. I
Yeah.
think Culture Collision was what 3 days, or did it start on Thursday? I think it started on a Friday.
Technically it starts on Friday, but we do like a I guess kind of like not really like an early setup, but just something to people kind of do. People still buy on
Yeah,
Thursday, but not really like for real. We're not really full force, full like fully active.
yeah. So this past weekend, 4 day weekend in Minnesota.
Yes.
Yesterday I had to take like a half a day and just recuperate from the weekend. Definitely took a lot out of me, physically, mentally. But I will say that going to a show for 4 days is quite the experience. It's a grind,
Man,
nonetheless. And wake up early, and that show in itself, I think. Most nights it had it ending at like 9 o'clock at night, which was crazy, crazy, crazy. What up, Vic?
what up?
And I mean, like I said, I had a blast. Obviously, we hung out the whole weekend. And thank you, thank you, thank you for allowing me to be in the Prism Guy presence, man.
Oh, stop it. Stop it. Stop it. You talking trash. But no, man, it's a grind, bro. We do this every weekend. We've been doing it for like the last, I don't know, I guess 5, 6 years. I don't even know at this point. I can't keep up. I just feel like I remember getting back in 2017 and then man, just go. That's it. Full speed ahead. But it's been a blessing, man. I had fun this weekend, man. How'd you? I know we had fun. We actually had a little fight party. That was
Yeah.
pretty cool, right?
No, definitely, definitely. What did you think of the fight? Did the person win who you expected to win?
Mm, let's talk about that in 1 second. Hey, but check this out, guys. We got a couple of different topics we're going to talk about today. We are going to talk about Ryan Garcia for sure. We are going to talk about playoff basketball. We're going to talk about LeBron James. We're going to talk about Beckett 9-5 versus PSA 9s. We're also going to talk about the relevancy of buying a grade versus buying a card. So we definitely have a lot to talk about. Should be really fun to talk about, and feel free to chime in with questions if you want to chime in. But yeah, man, I had fun watching the fight party with everybody. Shout out to everybody that came out to the fight party that was over at Tom's Watch Bar in Minnesota downtown. I had fun putting it on. I had fun with people coming out and supporting. So that was pretty dope. I plan on doing something like that again. Should be cool.
No, definitely, definitely. We even had, invited a lot of people to come hang out. It was a packed house there at Tom's, and like I said, the whole weekend went by so fast. It was like a blur. Hung out with the homie Windy City Sports Car. Shout out Gerald. Shout out
Yes.
Jason Slab. Shout out Downtown Jay. Shout out Wiz. Shout out Big Mike. I mean, like I said,
We the
you
hobby.
name it, they were there, grinding. And can't say enough about those guys, man. Seeing them
Oh, 702
firsthand, just
cards too. Sorry.
huh?
They were there. I'm trying to remember everybody who was there. 702 cards too was there.
Yeah, no, and we definitely were working and grinding the whole weekend. It is a grind. It's much more work than just sitting at home buying cards on the internet that I've grown very accustomed to doing. But like I said, some people do better in person, and some people do better in shows. And if you're able to incorporate a mixture of both, I think you can find yourself being successful in every avenue that you choose to go in. But sometimes it takes getting out of your comfort zone and getting out there amongst the people. You'll
Mm-hmm.
figure out real quick, man, that interaction with people is a lot different than interaction over the web.
Absolutely. Shout out to Tom Follows for the Bleecker trading art card trade nights. Coach Collision will definitely be there. We'll be a part of it. Definitely good guys, man. Card Carver. Shout out to him. And Bleecker. So I guess the first topic for the night, kind of speed fast forward this a little bit to talk about Ryan Garcia versus Devin Haney. Going into the fight, a lot of us expected Devin Haney to win. A lot of us expected Devin Haney to get, to whoop on Ryan Garcia. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was expecting a massacre. But what we witnessed and what I witnessed was brilliance, like greatness. I ain't gonna say greatness. I'm just gonna say brilliance. I'll just say brilliance and leave it with that. What you think?
I think for all the antics, and I saw something earlier today, that said that I think Ryan Garcia bet $2 million on himself,
Yeah,
and the notion was that all the antics, all the hoopla, all the beer drinking and weed smoking that he did leading up to the fight was all to raise the odds in his favor. And I think he ended up betting 2 million and winning $12 million on himself.
brilliance. I love it.
But yeah, the 3 pounds is, I think he actually was intentional to not cut more weight. And that is huge for him to overcome it. And I think when they came into the ring, you could see that he was the bigger guy. So he was actually able to absorb the punches. I wonder if he came in the same body shape that he did with Tank when he got caught in the second round by Haney. What devastation would that have done? So
Mhm.
it's one of those things where for the casual viewer might think that 3 pounds isn't a lot, but
Yeah.
whenever you're having to cut, it definitely is impactful and rather impactful. And you've
Mm.
seen it before. You've seen it where they intentionally, and I think Mayweather did it before too, where um, he intentionally came in overweight and paid the extra 500 grand per pound just to win the fight. So that is definitely, I think it is a tactic that he used to his best advantage, and then he we went from there.
I agree. All right, so that takes me to to this part of the segment where we talk about Ryan Garcia, him being, because Haney and I believe to Shakur, I think. I'm sorry. Were you saying something?
No, you're good.
Okay. All right. So look, we were talking about Haney and Shakur kind of being next up to fight Tank. But
Yeah,
with us witnessing Garcia, demolishing. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't think it was close. I
yeah.
mean, the cards might have said it was close, but what we witnessed was not close. Um,
Well, I think the ref, man. I think I've never yelled at a ref so much watching a boxing fight in my life, and just the fact that he only got counted for 3 knockdowns, and I think there was like 6 or 7 throughout the fight, and
yeah,
he actually took a point away from him, which normally yields a warning, and it was just bizarre. The fact that one of the refs had it 112, and there was 3 knockdowns is beyond. Like I said, I don't think that person should be uh, refereeing fights. But hey, the question I have though is, if they made a Ryan Garcia card, are you going to buy one now, or is that too much out of the question?
maybe one day.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't find a Tank card. I think Tank is definitely worth collecting.
There may be some out there. I know Canelo has one, and Allen and Ginter. I don't know if they usually where they put some of the autos at. I think Mayweather had a dynasty card, a Topps dynasty card, if I'm not mistaken, that was pretty dope. So there's a couple nice ones out there. I think I've graded a couple Canelo autographs actually.
mm,
So there is definitely some, but I think UFC is more mainstream in regards to card hobby wise than boxing is at this point. And I think the gravitation towards UFC and the amount of audience that they're absorbing away from boxing, the natural boxing audience, I think resonates in cards as well. Then don't necessarily collect or buy either one. My brother actually is big on the memorabilia side. He has like Mayweather signed trunks. He has Tyson signed trunks. So I know the memorabilia side is definitely has more appeal to some people because I guess it's more accessible.
mm. All right. Well, so let's focus on the question here. I got a question, basically talking about, is Ryan Garcia legit, and does he deserve a second chance to fight Tank? I mean, with
I
everything
don't
we saw this weekend.
I don't think Tank's gonna fight him. I really, really don't. I think that the same way Mayweather caught Canelo, young fighter coming
Yeah.
into his own, not really understanding the whole scope and the magnitude of not only fight promoting but the actual contract and all the stipulation that goes into that. I think Ryan Garcia was pretty handicapped in their first fight. That rehydration clause really took a lot out of him, and I really don't think that Tank wants to see Ryan Garcia without a rehydration clause because he comes in as the bigger opponent that obviously has a lot more steam to his punches, as you saw there with Devin Haney. I think he actually looked pretty unbeatable, but again, styles make matchups. I think that the new trainer that Ryan Garcia has goes a long way. I think you can't discredit him or not give him enough credit because he definitely is making a huge impact on his whole style, and you can see that. So yeah,
Yeah,
definitely legit.
I definitely think he's legit. I think he deserves another fight versus Tank, but I don't think it happens anytime soon. I think we see that fight in a later Tank career once, and by that time, maybe Ryan Garcia is not the same person, right? Or maybe he loses to Shakur, because I'm pretty sure Ryan Garcia is probably gonna he's probably gonna run into someone that's gonna probably make it easy for Tank to kind of like snake out of that fight. So I don't think
Yeah,
it's gonna happen, but I love to see it happen. And shout out to the people that are on Instagram actually posting comments like Ferris Jabbar, Rookie Patch Autos. I appreciate you guys' comments. I do see you guys on there. And if you want to make comments in the chat on the YouTube, feel free to jump into the YouTube, click and subscribe, and feel free to jump in and we can talk about sports cards in the collectible space. Um, All right, so up next, man. I mean, we witnessed a lot of different things, but while Minnesota, we missed out on one, perhaps maybe the best ticket in town, Minnesota versus Phoenix, right? And I kind of want to talk about the basketball playoffs because it's very interesting. It's very interesting because we're witnessing perhaps the second coming of Jordan.
Haha.
Question
Pause.
mark,
Pause.
asterisk, whatever. I think I'm going to say it. The second coming of Jordan, right?
Premature.
It's okay. That's fine. I'll live with that. With the Timberwolves versus Suns, and I know they're playing right now, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Timberwolves actually are winning right now. Um, what that looks like. I mean, we're almost halfway through the playoffs, given today, with the Pelicans losing to the Thunder. We got the Clippers who are taking the lead on the Mavericks. And by the way, the Clippers looks like they're going to probably sweep the Mavericks. With Luka and Kyrie dropping 60 something points in that first game. I mean, how do you expect to win if they're dropping 60 points collaboratively and can't win? Like,
Yeah.
how does that happen?
Now, I think, well, they're a two-man show. And I think that you can win with two guys, which is, evident. But what's interesting to me in that matchup is that they're doing it without Kawhi, you know? And so what does that team look like with Kawhi? And then what does Kawhi's impact have throughout the rest of the playoffs, you know?
Yeah.
That young team in OKC, I think that they have a lot to say as well. They're beating a hot New Orleans Pelicans team, so it's going to be interesting how it all shapes up. One of the biggest takes that I had from the weekend and from that first game with Minnesota and the Suns is all the trash talking that Anthony Edwards was giving to Durant, and rightfully so. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and you saw Durant kind of
I
laughing
love
it
it.
off.
I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
mean, all you can do is come back with it the next
Name
game, and
name one other young guy that does that. Let's see if you
John
know.
Morant.
There you go. Where you go. And I'm on the Ja train. Trust me. Ja is legit as they come. Ant-Man is legit as they come. That's all I'm gonna say. Future of the hobbies. And then you could put LaMelo Ball in there too. Because I actually like LaMelo Ball for a lot of reasons. And you also got to put Luka and Shot too. So these young guys are coming. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, there don't leave out a lot of the other guys too, man. I mean, they
Oh
might not
man.
be in the playoffs right now, Trey Young. I went back and I looked at some of the stats, and statistically speaking, how much Trey Young stacks up to all the players that you just mentioned. So, and
Absolutely.
it'll be interesting to see what he does, going, next year and see if he gets traded.
Man, I'm curious where he's gonna go, and I like his odds going to some of my favorite teams. I
Yeah,
mean,
so that's gonna
bro.
be definitely interesting. But what's up with the Lakers? I mean,
I
are they
mean,
gonna ever get past the Nuggets? I mean, we didn't talk about that. I mean, they were up by 20 yesterday,
I mean,
and they lost.
let's hold off on that statement first because we're gonna segue into another conversation. First of all, the Celtics, they're leading the Heat. I'm not really a big fan of Boston. I think they're probably fugazi in my personal opinion. Cleveland Cavaliers versus the Magic. I mean, that game I felt like should be a lot closer than what it is. But what Cleveland's doing to Orlando, I didn't expect to happen. I thought it was going to
Okay.
be a better series than what it is, but it looks like it's going to end up being a sweep. The Bucks versus the Pacers. I mean, who are the Pacers? The Pacers at this point, like, does anybody care? Like, I didn't care about the team in Indiana anyway, but from what I'm seeing and how they're playing, they're really playing like nobody. I mean, as good as the team, they really should. They should be performing way better than what they are. But I guess it's just Dame's time. The Knicks, by the way. Now
Hmm.
the Knicks,
Yeah, they're playing.
yo,
They're playing strong. Up 2-0 on the 76ers. That's crazy.
it's and I ain't gonna lie to you. Somebody told me probably 2 weeks ago that the Knicks was gonna come out of the East, and I gonna lie to you, I didn't believe it, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I don't think there's a better team in the East that could beat the Knicks. Just being honest with you, out of the East, I'm not sitting here saying they're gonna win it all, but I don't
But you
think there's
get.
a.
I mean, I think you're discrediting the Celtics, man. I mean, you
Oh
don't have
man,
the
this
number
team is
one the
trash.
number one record in the entire league for no reason.
But they've
So
been
I
doing
think
it
that
for six
pump the brakes a
years.
little bit.
They've been doing it for 6 years. Six
Well,
years.
I mean, it's their year.
Every year is their year. So every year is their year. They number 1 seed, number 1 through 3 seed for the last 6 years, and they get there and they lose. I don't expect them to be. Should I be surprised they lose to Cleveland? But I expect it to be Celtics versus the Knicks. That next series, Bucks versus Knicks, gonna be crazy. But that's another segment for a different week, man. We'll see what happens. We're only early into this first round, but going back to what you talked about with the Nuggets and the Lakers.
But question, hold on,
Go ahead.
before you get there, you know who's not gonna win the championship this year?
What's that?
The Warriors. So what happens to that team next year? Just a question out of curiosity. Your take on that?
We already know that team's getting blown up. I hope. I've been saying this for 2 years that Klay Thompson needs to not be a Warrior. Draymond Green does not need to be a Warrior. They're paying these guys too much money, and there's too much young talent out there that deserves a chance. That's all. I mean, especially with the amount of money that a lot of these guys are getting paid. I mean, arguably, you might as well say Wiggins in that category too. He's a young, disappointing player at this point.